now we have your jump-ins, and your primary jump-in buttons, your go-to jump-ins are going to be jump heavy punch and jump heavy kick. They're pretty similar now. It used to be jump heavy punch was the better button, but in AE they have changed them, and they're both very similar now in their use and how well they do. You want to be using these buttons as your primary jump-in buttons, firstly because they're the best damage, best damage combo starters, and also they are the best anti-airs you have for beating, best jump-in buttons you have for beating anti-airs. Like, these will do very well against anti-air jabs, and if people are a bit too slow on their anti-airs or what have you, these two buttons will get you through and get you in for big damage. Our next jump-in button is jumping medium kick. This button is your cross-up button. This is your crossover button. As you can see, that's its main purpose, is for crossover jumps. The problem with this button, however, is that you should not use it as just a general anti-air. You should not use this as your all-purpose anti-air, and the reason is this button will lose to everything. Any anti-airs, even characters that do not have anti-air jabs, can anti-air jab this button. Basically, it will lose hard to all anti-airs. So use it for cross-ups, but if for your primary jumps you want to be using heavy kick and heavy punch. On to throws. We will start with Ed's forward throw. Now, Ed's forward throw, decent damage, 130 damage. One thing about his throws is he is a very good tick throw character. He has a lot of +3 buttons. So you have a +3 tick throw there. And in AE, you have a +3 tick throw off this button, if I can. So what this is basically is, because you are +3 and throws are 5 frames, to beat a 3 frame, you need to have it's basically a 1 frame micro walk after you hit them. So basically just hold forward when you throw here, like hold forward during the block stun and press throw when you're out, and the 1 frame micro walk will give you a tick throw that beats 3 frame normals off of your crouch medium punch at point blank range. I look like a bit of an idiot whiffing it there, but that's just because, when you try to do something while talking, I'm not very good at doing that. But this is a very good tick throw situation for Ed. I'm glad they made it crouch medium punch +3. And no longer do you have setups of your throw, well, the setups are different. I will get into it. Off of forward throw, you get meaty stand heavy kick, and this stand heavy kick is spaced so that it's unpunishable really. Even characters that are very good at punishing his stand heavy kick can't punish this meaty. So that's really nice, and that goes, we'll put on the counter hit. This combos, right? If you get a crush counter there, very good combo. People can dash out of it, then you can change up how you approach that situation. Ed has a throw game in the corner. It's pretty different to how he was in vanilla Street Fighter V, but he still has a throw game. It's just not as real or as easy as it used to be. First things first, you can do this. Not a real setup. That is not a real setup, but it is not very reactable. And if they try to press something to stop it, you can get crouch heavy punch. by walking forward a bit, and it is a meaty crouch heavy punch. There we go. It's all about timing. That is how they have decided to change the throw game. Is they want you to do, so you can do stuff like that. You can do whatever you want really. You can if you want to do something like that, oh, might have to get a bit closer. That's hard to get close for. I personally like the crouch heavy punch because if they press something they get crushed, and you get a big combo. So if I just put him on counter hit, if he presses something here, you do something like that, right? It's just, his throw game still exists in the corner. It's just a bit different. And also, if they block this, so let's put him on guard all, you can continue your pressure with this. If I could just get the timings right. You know, you can continue your pressure here with an EXY, but if you see the block, you can continue your pressure, which is really nice. Do like a shimmy after walk forward, walk back. There. So that's the basics of Ed's corner throw game off of a forward throw. Ed's back throw, pretty standard. It is, back throw gives you more damage and more stun than forward throw. As you can see, 140 damage, 200 stun, compared to 130 damage, 150 stun. So 50 stun increase, very big. Good for getting that last bit of stun if you want to do a throw. Another thing to take note of, and this applies to a lot of characters, back throw is your best meter build in the game. So if I just change my critical gauge, rather, this is your best meter build. As you can see, it builds almost half a bar. It's like a third, a bit over a third. So if you stun someone and they're just like about to die, you know, they're like real close to dying, it's the best way to finish them off is with a back throw, because you will get the most meter out of it. And one other thing about Ed's back throw is that if you do it into the corner, you will get a meaty setup. So you can do basically whatever you want here. You can do crouch heavy punch, you know, into your pressure. You can do another throw if you want. There's meaty setups where there's like meaty stand medium kick, which will combo into itself. I have that in other videos, you can see it. Yeah, that's pretty much the basics of his back throw. One thing is, he doesn't really get anything, there's nothing, no follow-up to a mid-screen back throw really. You can do stand heavy kick, and that can catch wake-up jabs and crush counter them, but the problem is, it doesn't hit them on block, it just whiffs in their face and people can react to that. So it's not the best follow-up, in my opinion. Okay, Ed's V reversal. It could very well be the best V reversal in the entire game, really. It's definitely the best movement V reversal. One of the first good things about it, obviously, is that it side switches, right? Side switch can get you out of the corner. Very good, very useful. Second thing that I will talk about why this thing is very good is it is completely strike invincible, so nobody can hit you out of it. They can throw you out of it, but unlike a lot of the other movement V reversals, this one cannot be hit on the way out, as you can see. And one more quick thing I'll show you about this V reversal is that it can lead to punishes. It is that fast. There are practical situations where you can get a punish off this move. I will show you one here. As you can see, if you are aware and have a good read on someone, you can go for something like that. And even if you didn't make the right read and it didn't work, you didn't lose anything. So So yeah, very good V reversal for Ed. Okay, time to talk about Ed's V skill. First thing, if I could just change the settings here real quick, is that it builds good V meter. Let's just have a normal start. As you can see on the V bars, well, that's decent. That's the block. That's how much it builds on block, which is not bad. Not bad at all. On hit, builds like a third of the bar. Pretty good. Pretty good stuff. Builds a third of the bar. So that's nice. It has good range. You know, that's a bit out of range. That's a bit out of range. Bit out of range. There we go. Decent range. And if you hit with this move, you get a dash forward and a meaty setup where you're +3. So you can do a medium button, like a 6-frame move, or you can just do a throw, basically. So you get good pressure off this button hitting, as well as some really nice meter build. The problems with this move is very slow startup, and it has very big recovery as well. And on block, this move is -2. So when they block it, that's minus. You're right in their face, and it's -2 their turn. So it can be a very dangerous move to use. Also, it is classified as a projectile, so projectile invincible moves will beat this. Button. So keep that in mind. And it does trade with fireballs, but you don't really want to be doing that. It doesn't gain you anything, and you have such long recovery. But it will kill fireballs. Next up is the fully charged V skill. Now this move is, it builds, as you can see on the V meter, builds very good V meter, and you can even do that. You can get over half a bar if you do an ender like this, which is awesome stuff, and decent damage too for like what you're going for. It has very good range, as you can see, and it leads to great damage. There's all sorts of, I won't go into the combos, but look at that damage for 1 bar. Really good stuff. On block, this move is also +3. So you can do your, pressure, you can do a throw, you can do like a tick throw if you want, you can do, you have all sorts of options here for what you want to do if you pull someone in at +3. And I will just set Akuma to player. Alright. As you can see, it also goes through fireballs. Oh, I caught him a bit early there. And it has such a long startup, but goes through fireballs, right? And against EX fireballs, it's kind of... You'll see. You still get hit, but it's worth it if you get a situation like that. Onto the negatives of this V trigger. The first negative is that it has massive startup. Like, that startup is so huge. Anyone can react to this if they're waiting for it. Massive startup, right? And it has huge recovery if it whiffs. So look at how long Ed is just standing there. This move is very dangerous to use. You open yourself up immensely by using this move in neutral. And like the V skill, it is also a projectile, so projectile invincible moves will go right through it, basically. Onto down V skill. Now, this move is a good anti-air. This is a good anti-air, and it has some very good specific uses as well. So we will set him to jump. As you can see, it builds a decent amount of meter. That's like an alright amount of V meter. It builds right there, right? It has decent range, like up moving range, and it gives you very good corner carry as well. The corner carry is very good, and you can basically do whatever you want against their wake up, really. You get a good untechable knockdown situation here, where you can just go nuts, really. You get to walk forward, you can throw, you can do basically any meter you want to do. Yeah, it's pretty good stuff. I'll show you very good specific use. This is why I picked Akuma. Let's just put him back to standing. Alright. Akuma, you are going to... do that. You're gonna chill. On. You will see. As you can see, this move is great against air fireballs. Oh, I was a bit early there. You have to be careful of not being too early. But this move will go right through air fireballs. It won't even, you'll never trade. Even if the fireball's right on top of you in the animation, this move will beat. When you're fighting Akuma, you should use this as your primary anti-air for reasons like this. You will never have to really worry about air fireballs. It's hard, he can kind of bait them out of you, but it's hard for him to do so. And it's good against demon flips as well. That's one of the many uses of this anti-air. Now onto the negatives. It is 9 frames startup, which is kind of slow. You know, it's kind of slow. And it has a very shallow hitbox, so, you know, further range jump-ins, it's gonna whiff, kind of thing. And it does not as good damage and stun compared to your other primary anti-airs that are gonna see use. So, it's good for V meter build, good for the setup, good for the corner carry, good against, like I said, certain things such as this. And yeah, that's down V skill for you in a very basic explanation.